surprise, everybody. We started 10 minutes early today because I was just sitting around and nothing else to do. It's a beautiful Saturday. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody in the United States. Enjoy your long weekend, your day off. And it's good to see everybody again. Good to see everyone in the chats. This is going to be your stream, guys. This is going to be hopefully entirely value-packed based on questions from you guys. And if not, I can just ramble about a whole bunch of topics that I've got written down. But really, I just want to read the chat primarily during this particular stream, answer any and all questions that you might have about crypto, the bear market, about HEX. And at the end of the video, too, I also want suggestions. I would not mind hearing from the audience about what do you want to see in terms of my next video, new content, because you guys really help me to help you to shape the channel, to shape the future of the channel and all that. And I want to provide value in the best way I can, and I can only do that if I know what the people want. So go ahead, and I'll try to read all the comments eventually. But let's just make sure my mic is working. Yes, it is. Yeah. So the thumbnail of this video is: would you buy this? And if you couldn't tell, that was the PulseChain price chart, right? No logos, no nothing. But if you didn't know that that was the PulseChain price, would you buy that chart objectively? Just by looking at that chart, because it looks kind of bottomy to me, but it's also a triple bottom. And there is no man's land in the opposite down direction, and there's also no man's land in the up direction as well. It's a brand new chart. It's only 110 days old. So not a whole lot of chart history to go off of here. But would you buy this? Would you buy this dip right now? It's almost like I'm almost genuinely asking you guys, because I did. I literally just put in a pretty hefty buy on the new moon, or the full moon rather. So yes, I did buy on the full moon, August 31st or whatever. And a pretty good sized chunk, to be honest with you. One of my biggest DCAs, not my biggest of all time. Still got a little bit of capital to deploy potentially in the next 2 weeks personally. But yeah, would you guys buy this? Because I sure did. Genuinely asking for a friend. All right, guys, how's everybody doing? And RH Max, how can I incur less loss? Sir, it's very simple, sir. You buy low, you sell high, and you go back in time, you sell all of your HEX at 50 cents, and then you wait 2 years, you go into hiding, you go into a bunker for 2 years, you come out right about now, and then you redeploy all that capital right now. That's how you make the ideal move. You need a time machine, though, so it's not too easy. I haven't really been able to find one. Kaiza, thank you so much for always being in the chat. We'll watch the replay later. Thanks a lot for streaming, or for always watching. Let's see here. Let's make sure everything's going well. Yeah, here we go. We're all live. Everything's good to go. Red Squirrel, oi, oi to you too, sir. Koshin, am I still in Chi-Town for now? And planning on PR pretty soon. The island life. Let's see. What do we got here? Somebody wants to know how much HEX I have. I do not disclose that information, sir. It's kind of like asking how much money is in your bank account. It's just not, it's not polite to ask, and it's not anything that anybody needs to know. But I will say this. I will say that I have heard rumors and suspicions that I have to laugh at, because people claim that they've tracked my wallets and stuff, and they'll point to some totally random wallet that I've never seen before in my life, and I'm just like, wow, it's the blind leading the blind out here. And I really sometimes think that people think I have more HEX than I actually do. I have my bags are good, all right. My bags are good and packed and ready, but I still want more HEX. I still when you think about it, right? Why wouldn't you want more? If every HEX, let's say HEX goes to $1 one day, why wouldn't I want to be buying dollars for the price of a penny right now? You know what I mean? Or less than a penny. These are future dollars we're talking about, in my opinion. And that's how I view it. That's how I viewed it since day one. I was like, man, this thing could go to $1 one day. It could go much higher. But even at $1, every million HEX is $1 million. So think of that's how I like to think about it. But I also think I just think it's funny when I see these rumors online, because I think people assume that I'm some gigantic whale. And I don't have as much as some people might think that I do, right? Those OGs, those darn OGs. Yo, cheers, coffee and RH family from DR, Dominican Republic. Thank you, Humberto. Cheers to you as well. Salud. Koshin says, please tell us what period of market cycle we are in. It feels like depression will end when BTC goes to whatever lows, final downslide. And GBTC discount has to vanish. Well, yeah, so the GBTC discount has vanished. Actually, I shouldn't say completely, but it's in the process of closing. Here, let's pull up a chart. Let's talk about the GBTC discount. I'm going to pull this up on the screen for you guys. The discount to, this is a chart of how much people are paying less than NAV, which means net asset value. So the GBTC trust is owned by Grayscale, which is owned by Digital Currency Group, which is owned by Barry Shilbert, our good friend Barry Shilbert. And he's gotten into some trouble lately because a lot of people are pretty unhappy that they're kind of stuck in this. They're stuck in GBTC basically with no rights of redemption, because when you're buying paper GBTC, you're not buying real Bitcoin, you know, and you guys have all seen this chart before probably, but if you haven't, it's on the screen right now. And notice how we were as low as negative 40%, meaning you could buy Grayscale's version of Bitcoin that tracks the underlying value of Bitcoin, paper Bitcoin, right? Not real Bitcoin. This is traded on, you know, public markets and stuff. So you can trade it in your IRA. People like it for that reason. It got as low as negative 48%, I believe. It got pretty low. 47%. Yeah, negative 48%, meaning you could almost buy GBTC for half the price of the underlying net asset value of Bitcoin. So it was about half price compared to Bitcoin. And now we're closing that gap. And Richard Hart has always had his finger on this metric. Or his eye on this metric for a long time. This is kind of, he had always stated this as a metric of when we can signal for better times ahead. So the bull market could be nearing, like we could be priming up for the bull market, because look at this gap that we just closed from negative 43 all the way up to negative 20, meaning that discount is a lot lower than it was just even a month ago. A lot lower, like half as low, 2x closing the gap. So what does that mean? It just means that a lot of this news comes from the fact that Barry Silbert was actually able to get his ETF submitted. And now that there's some bullish sentiment on those ETFs getting approved, Barry's way of getting out of the trouble that he was in was essentially to transfer to a publicly traded spot Bitcoin ETF. And launching an ETF would get him out of, I think it would give redemption rights, right? Which would let a lot of people cash out the Bitcoin, which means the gap would close instantly. No, if people knew that they could exchange GBTC for regular BTC, that's called redemption rights, then there should theoretically be no gap, right? So people are speculating that, because the ETF is coming out, well, I can technically, if the ETF gets passed and everything goes fine, which a lot of people are thinking that's going to happen, it looks very clear in the news. Well, I can buy Bitcoin for negative 20% off right now, a 20% discount on Bitcoin. And then once the ETF goes live and I have redemption rights, I can just sell that Bitcoin and basically make a free, it's almost like the easiest 20% gain you could ever ask for. Now, it's all based on speculation, but it does seem very likely that, they're going to pass the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And there's 7 proposals, and the SEC just delayed them yet again, another 45 days. Well done, SEC. You're really doing the Lord's work out there, guys. Protecting investors, slowing down progress, charging corrupt extortion fees for people that are just trying to innovate and create products, finished products, by the way. Claps for you, Gary. Good job, buddy. So what period of the market cycle are we in? It does feel like depression, doesn't it? It does feel like depression. So HEX kind of, here's my thought about HEX. It always tends to lead the market both up and down. You'll notice if you look at the HEX chart that it topped September, I think 21st of 2021, whereas Bitcoin topped a month after in November or October, November, sometime around there. And I also think it's likely that HEX bottoms before everything else too, because crypto reacts much faster to news about federal fund rates and macro conditions than anything else. It's 24/7. It's all online. There's no 4 p.m. cutoff time like the New York Stock Exchange. So stocks react pretty fast, but crypto reacts really fast to news. And Bitcoin's kind of the heavier object, right? But what reacts even faster than Bitcoin are the altcoins, Ethereum, and then the altcoins like HEX and PulseChain. And these are the premier altcoins in my reality. And it's yeah. Basically what I'm saying is that these have probably bottomed before Bitcoin has bottomed. It feels like we've shaken out all the weak hands. It feels like everybody that wanted to sell has sold, but I've said that before, and apparently there's more people with more to sell. I don't know where they're hiding, but look, man, if you guys want to dump, just get it over with. Just get it over with and dump. But I do believe that it does kind of seem like HEX has potentially bottomed before Bitcoin. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin does go to another final low, but I just don't know how many HEX and PulseChain holders have, how many weak hands do we have left in this ecosystem? I think we've really shaken out all the non-believers. I mean, we occasionally see the whale, the top 200 wallet occasionally jeets out and capitulates and dumps, right? We saw a guy sell like 19 billion PLS at the lows, at 0.0004, which is like, man, it's only been 3 months, bro. Like, it pains me to see because it's like, sure, maybe they got out and broke even. Maybe they lost, a couple $50,000 or something. But man, the risk of selling at all right now for break even versus just waiting 2 years and just seeing what happens, like at the very least, if we get a bull market at all, if we get a bull market at all, these things are all going up. It just blows my mind when people sell at the lows when they could just wait 2 more years. Long-term holding is the name of the game. It always has been, always will be. Short-term traders get wrecked, and people that are emotional, that they pay too much attention to the news, they FUD themselves out. They shake themselves out because they don't have conviction and they don't understand what they're holding, how it can't be shut off. And some of these people just get scared. And hey, that's okay. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their money. You could buy or sell or whatever. You could jeet out at the lows if you want, but it just seems so crazy to me. Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is I went through that depression cycle myself personally a couple months ago, about a month ago. It's probably when the SEC news hit. There's a couple weeks there where I was just like, damn, this really, really sucks. And I went through a few days of the depression, and I'm talking about my personal, feelings about the market. But now I'm kind of over that, and I'm kind of optimistic. Like, I have my eyes set on much better times ahead, and all we got to do is make it through September. So I am actually more motivated, more positive, optimistic than I was even at this point last month. So when it comes to HEX leading the market, I think you might see the Bitcoin guys going through their depression phase this month, but we've been there, done that. The Hexicans, the PulseChain community, we've been eating FUD for breakfast every single day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. 3 meals a day, just FUD sandwich. And so I think there's not much left that people can say. I feel like the majority of us have kind of coped in our own way. We've kind of assessed the situation. We've dealt with it. We've come to terms with the reality, so to speak. So what else can they throw at us, guys? What else can you possibly throw? The SEC news was basically like the ultimate FUD. There is no higher FUD, really, as far as I'm concerned. And so it's also, we just eat FUD, from haters daily. People just make up stories about us all day long. So I think I think the PulseChain community in particular is moving on past the depression phase, but I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe get one final capitulation. Everybody seems to think September is going to be a bad month. Waters Above says that Rosh Hashanah is going to make number go down. Not exactly like that. And then you got your friend Somi. Shout out Somi. He's just saying statistically September is usually a down month. He might be right, but then again, now that everybody's expecting September to suck, what if it doesn't? What if September is just kind of neutral accumulation zone, and then Bitcoin halving next year, new election cycle? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be shaken up, right? A lot of stuff going to be shaken up. Hey, brother Moon Gang member in the house. See how this goes. Look forward to this, brother. Thank you, Corey. Coffee's always consistent. Thanks, man. Yep. I'll be here in the bull and the bear. 15 years, baby. If I'm still doing the same thing in 15 years, though, I might have to reassess my life. I'll be on YouTube. I feel like I'll always be on YouTube. I love making videos, but who knows? A decade from now, I might be doing longevity videos or something else, but crypto will always be near and dear to my heart. Pun intended. Done bought the dip, brother. Me too, bro. Let's see how it works out for us. I bought the dip. You bought the dip. Time will tell. Are we the biggest tards of all time? Do we have the tism? Do we have the syndrome of the downs? Or will we be making the smartest investment decision of all time? Because look, guys, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. This is called buying low, right? A lot of people bought high in the last bull, and that's okay. I mean, I get the euphoria. I made some purchases that I probably shouldn't have, in the upper range. But this is the buy low part. You are here. You are at the buy low part. And contrarian investing, when everybody hates PulseChain, that's when you want to look for the opportunity. The opportunities come when everybody thinks a certain way and the crowd is always wrong. You want to do what the herd does not do. And if you have the balls to do that, if you have the cajones to take the opposite viewpoint of everybody else, that risk is usually rewarded over time. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's what I like to call a get rich slow scheme, right? It's winning the lottery in slow motion. Coffee, the beard looks tight, nice fade. Get that soy milk in your coffee. No. Well, thanks for the compliment, but sir, I ain't putting soy milk in my coffee, bro. I don't drink that soy. What do you think? I'm some kind of soy boy? How dare you? Humberto, what kind of pump do you foresee? What kind of pump, if any, do you foresee from Pulse by the bottom of December? Just to guess, I'm not selling until end of 24. I think we could be back at sacrifice prices by December. I mean, that seems okay to me. Back to square one, right? Just right back to 0.0001, which is kind of like baseline, right? So people will all hopefully be happy, especially if they bought the dip, right? They could potentially double their bags because it'd be like a 2.5x from here, right? What are the price right now? I got this thing right behind me. I don't know if anyone's seen this. Look behind me. I've got this. It's called a tidbit, TIDBYT. And people make apps and it's connected to the internet. I got Neon Cat going right now. And sometimes, so it scrolls through these different apps. It'll show me the moon cycle. It shows me cat videos. It shows me the HEX price, the PulseChain price, the PulseX price, INC price. It's awesome. It's awesome. So I always know at all times of the day what the price is. Happy Labor Day. I'd buy that for $1. What are you talking about? You'd buy HEX for $1? Shit, why not? In the next, if HEX is $1 in the next bear market, like 2027, 28, $1 HEX might actually be a good, decent buy. But $1 HEX in the bull market, that's going to start to look like profit taking time for me a little bit, at least. Personally, $1 HEX. By the way, $1 HEX is also when I'm getting my HEX tattoo. I've been saying this since I think one of my very first live streams. When HEX hits $1, and only when HEX hits $1, will I be getting the logo inscribed via ink into my epidermis. My question is, if you could be any biscuit, which biscuit would you be and why? Are you from London, bro? Are you talking about cookies? I'd be a stroopwafel, baby, because I'm rough on the outside, but I'm sweet and gooey on the inside. I'm a HEX OG and took a step away from the community to find out I can't get HEX on uni anymore. Oh, so here we go. I got a solution for you, Vandes. Do not worry, sir. Do not worry. I got just the solution for you. If an OG has trouble, I can't imagine no coiners. Any advice on where to get HEX on Ethereum? Thanks. Yes, sir. So there's a whole bunch of websites. Here, let me pull this up. CowSwap is a good one. So CowSwap? I think it's swap.cow.fi. All right. So you can go to swap.cow.fi. They've still got HEX. They haven't betrayed us. And so you got CowSwap, you've got other front ends. So you got ethhex.com, still works. That's ethhex.com. You've got swap.hedron.pro. So Alex from the Hedron team, he made another front end. Look, I made a slideshow. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. I made a video where there's a slide in that video, and it talks about all the different alternative options that you can use to get around the corrupt Uniswap gatekeepers. Decentralization, bro. Rules for thee, but not for me. Right? They just go with it. They went ahead and took the liberty of banning HEX. Although I do believe that HEX is listed again in non-United States countries. So I've heard from people in the UK. I've heard from people in Australia. Seems like they unbanned HEX because, the SEC is not the world police. But that's probably, my guess would be, that's what they were scared of, right? They just saw the news, the headline, and they themselves, Uniswap themselves, was getting investigated. Although, did you hear? Fun fact on the news today, guys. I think yesterday, the SEC just essentially dropped their case against Uniswap because the judge threw it out. The judge was like, this is absolute garbage. Come to me with a real issue next time. And they just tore it up and threw it in the trash. So that's a win, right? As much as we might not like Uniswap, a win for DeFi is a win for crypto. It's a win for all of us. Okay. Let me try to find this one. Sorry, guys. Let's, where the hell is it? I had it somewhere. True decentralization. Yes, here it is. Okay. So you got swap.hedron.pro, ethhex.com, swap.cow.fi, sushiswap.com, matcha.xyz. But with matcha, you have to copy paste the contract address, PancakeSwap, and 1inch.io, and Portal X Swap. So you can swap on all these alternative dexes. Let me go ahead and here, let me share the screen really quick. Write these down, sir. Write these down. And people that just want to just take a screenshot of this and like bookmark all these, I recommend it. I recommend bookmarking these. There we go. So here we go on the screen. Swap one more time. Swap.hedron.pro, ethhex.com, portalxswap.io, swap.cow.fi, SushiSwap. Believe it or not, SushiSwap does plug into Ethereum, and they do list it. Matcha.xyz. You're going to have to copy paste on that one. Copy paste the hex contract address. PancakeSwap. You might have thought PancakeSwap was a Binance Smart Chain only DEX, but no. Actually, you can connect to a whole bunch of different chains on PancakeSwap. It's just the primary DEX for Binance Smart Chain. And finally, 1inch.io, which I think you got to use a VPN, or you got to go on vacation in the United States if you want to do that. But those were that. That was that. So I hope you took a screenshot. There's also a whole bunch of staking front ends if one of them is not working out for you. But fear not, my good friend Vandy's. What's up, Coffee? How you doing, Carnival Games? That's what I assume. Not going to lie. LOL. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little late on that one. Probably referring to a previous combo. RH Max again. What's going up? So far, let's see. So far, RH failed. Have you ever heard of price volatility? The products are all out. Products are all out and working fine. This guy just wanted things to go up and to the right forever. He just wanted a straight rocket ship to the moon. That's not how markets work, bud. The products did not fail at all. The price went down. That's what happened. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, look, if you're sad, just go sell your bag and go away. You'll be happier. Oh, that's funny. Got people arguing in the chat. That's great. Stake and chill. Oh my God, dude. Look, if you really think that this is a quote unquote failure, you are gonna have a rough time in this market, boys. You're gonna have a rough time. Some of these guys can't wait more than 3 months for anything. Delayed gratification, boys and girls. That's the name of the game. That's what works in everything. It works in life. Delayed gratification. You want a good body, you got to go to the gym, but you can't just go for a week. You're not going to get shredded after a week. Delayed gratification works in almost everything. It's like the one thing that allowed humans to progress more than any other species in the animal kingdom, right? We were planning for the future. We could store food because we could anticipate that we might have a rough winter. So we could store food, accumulate, delay gratification, and reward ourselves at the end. A lot of animals don't know how to do this. A lot of low consciousness people don't know how to do this. You know, they don't know how to delay gratification. Long-term holders. Long-term holders is what wins in crypto. Long-term holders and founders. Traders get wrecked, y'all. Fud mignon. Fud roast. Filet of fud. Give me that filet of fud. McDonald's. Fud Benedict. Elmer Fudd. Fud salad sandwich. Fudderoni pizza. Man, 40 Traveler. What else? You're on a roll over there, bro. PLS to 10 cents in 2025. I don't know about 10 cents, man. I don't know. I'd be happy with a penny. Look, 10 cents, bull case scenario. Everything goes amazingly well. Maybe. Realistic, price, maybe we touch a penny in this cycle, right? And then maybe we touch 10 cents to $1 in the next cycle. But yeah, I think a lot of people will be very happy if we do, 100x from stack price, which would really be like, what, 300x, 400x from all-time lows ish. Soy is poison. Yeah, soy is not good for you. Soy is not that good for you. There's a lot of things that have soy inside of them, and they're really just not the best place to farm PLS. Well, I kind of stick to the yield farms on PulseX, but just watch my previous video, bro. I talked about some alternative options. You got Daytona, Impulse, Spark Swap. Just watch my last video. Those are some places I'm currently farming, but it's all risky, right? If you really want to find new yield farms, just go to the PRC20's Telegram chat. It's like PRC20 altcoins. You can find out every single thing everyone's ever building on PulseChain. 90% of it is garbage, by the way. But be very careful, okay? Be very careful in that Telegram group. You're going to be very tempted to go in all kinds of different directions. But if you're looking for yield farms, you can find new ones there. It's t.me/PRC20 altcoins. Let me go try to find it. I don't even want to tell you guys because people are just going to go in this group and buy. They're going to buy every coin they get shilled. They're going to lose all their money. Just look for it, guys. If you want to look for the PRC PulseChain altcoins channel, you'll find it. You'll find what you're looking for. You just got to do a little digging. Oh, RoboCop quote. I'd buy that for $1. That shows you my movie knowledge right there. If it never hits $1, Hex has to get a tattoo of coffee. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna shake that Hex down. I'm gonna go to its house and drop a dead fish at its door. Win THOS at Netflix. I want to see it. Well, someone's got to buy it. Netflix has to buy it. Hulu's got to buy it. My guess is that, look, the movie premiere was very successful. Okay, theaters sold out all across the country. We even had to open up some in like Ireland and the UK. That's just the initial getting your foot in the door, right? That allows you to be nominated for awards. It makes you look more professional. Makes you look more legit. There ain't nothing wrong with the Stroopwafel. That's right, sir. Oh, Coffee's talking about goo. Oh man, am I way far behind on chat? Yes, I am. I'm way far behind on chat. Yo, Coffee, DCA is the way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What hex prices lead? Will hex prices lead PulseChain PulseX prices? Look, you know what's weird is that right now Hex has been actually leading and outperforming PLS just by a little bit, right? So Hex has kind of been the near-term winner, but I do think that, okay, if I had to guess, in terms of gains from bottom to top in all right, visualize this. It's 2025. It's January. It's December 31st. We're looking at the price of all three, and we're measuring from the all-time low to the all-time high using the new chart history, not talking about all the old chart history of EHEX. I believe you're probably going to see Pulse number 1, Hex number 2, and PulseX number 3 in terms of gains during this cycle. That's my thinking. That's always been my thinking. It's always been my thought. Now, it's not to say in future cycles things can't change. I think Hex and PulseX could easily catch up, 5 years from now, 6, 7 years from now, maybe the next cycle, right? Maybe then they start to outperform and we go on, PulseX season. But look, when it comes to PulseX, the distribution is what matters. The fact that the sacrifice phase was 3 times as long and had 3 times as many participants, and so they raised $1 billion for a DEX token, right? That means everybody and their mother has PulseX right now because they all found out about that coin after, and they missed the PLS sacrifice. There's a lot of people in that scenario. It might be a lot of you listening. So you can't be surprised when the coin dips that much, when everyone's got it and everybody wants Pulse and everybody wants the other coins. And, people are chasing shiny object syndrome and all that stuff. It's like, what did you think was going to happen, right? The coin that everybody has, nobody wants to buy it. They want to load up on the coins they don't have. So we're just seeing this redistribution phase. Everyone that wanted to kind of dump their PulseX for something else. I think we're seeing a lot of that going on right now, but seems to have found a bottom. So we will see, won't we? We will see. Soy will grow your man bobs. Say no to soy. That is true. That is true. I think it increases estrogen or something. I'm not sure. Pulse is finished. You're right. It is a finished product. Pulse is a finished product. Very, very insightful comment. Cliff bars are full of soy. Oh, shit, really? I kind of like Cliff bars. I guess I got to not eat those anymore. Thanks for ruining Cliff bars for me, Alan. All right, let's see, guys. Let's see. Look, guys, have you ever seen the Lunar Crush social stats? Here, I want to show you guys something else. LunarCrush.com is a website where it tracks social metrics for cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look up HEX over on Lunar Crush. I'm going to find something that I thought was pretty cool, and I want to show you visually what I mean. Social mentions, social engagements. All right, social engagements. And we're going to look at the maximum chart history. Yeah, here we go. Maximum chart history. And then we're going to go ahead and share the screen here. LunarCrush.com. Now, it's not really something I follow every day, Lunar Crush, but if you look at the screen here, I just want you guys to notice something very interesting. You'll see two metrics on the screen. One is obviously the price chart, okay? And what's that blue line? That blue line is social engagements. Now, at the very peak of HEX, okay, we had a price of 48 cents-ish, and total social engagements were 260,000. Now, I don't know how they measure this. It's probably a mixture of Twitter interactions and stuff like that. I think they primarily focus on Twitter, so that's fine. All we need is Twitter. It's a good sample set because most of us are on Twitter. 260,000 social engagements at the peak of the price. Remember that. Now, we're at lows. We're at very, very low points. Not all-time lows on HEX, but we're pretty low. And now we've got 16 million. 16 million. 16 million social engagements. Let's do the math there. 16 million. So we're at about 61x the engagement. We have 61 times more engagement at the bottom of the price than we did at the top of the price. This is called divergence. And usually people do technical analysis. They do divergence on like the RSI. They're like, oh, price is going down, but RSI is going up. That's a good thing. That's a signal that price will pivot. That's called divergence. It's when two metrics diverge, right? And then eventually they have to converge again. Now, what this tells me right here is that 61x the social engagements, guys. Think about that. 61x the social engagements at the bottom of the price. And so when the divergence converges again, what do you think is going to happen? People are talking about Pulse and HEX more than ever before. Love it or hate it. I mean, really, this kind of shows you that if it bleeds, it leads, right? Everybody has heard about HEX. Everyone's heard about the drama, the Richard Hart, the SEC. Nothing's going to happen to the products, right? Richard Hart might get a fine. Richard Hart might get a fine at the, oh no, then business as usual. But you can't shut off these products. They're decentralized. You can't shut off PulseChain. You can't shut off HEX. They're just smart contracts and blockchains. It's decentralized software. So look, man, if you want something to be confident about, something to make your bet seem a little more safe or a little more probabilistically good, I like to look at this. And I like to know that, back in the day, at the peak of the market, we had 61 times less people talking about all of this stuff in general. If we could do a 10,000x with 61x less engagement, can you imagine what the next bull market could do? Look, I don't want to get too moon boyish, but it matters. People talking about your coin matters. That's all it is. Community matters a lot. People need to know about it. Marketing matters. People need to know what the coin is. How are they going to find out if no one's talking about it? You know what? Let's go find out the social metrics on like something else. Another coin I should compare it to. Ripple. People seem to like Ripple, right? Ripple. Now, Ripple's got the same situation going on. Wait. No, that says their social engagements are 0. I don't know if Ripple's being tracked right. Shiba. Maybe Shiba. Let's see what Shiba's got. Yeah, Shiba had a lot of engagement at the bull market. A lot more engagement at the top of the bull market than we had compared to right now. 33 million. Show me the actual. It's not pulling up the number for me. Lunar Crush, you have a bug on your website. Lunar Crush, please fix. Can the devs please do something? But yeah, Metcalfe's law, guys. 61x higher engagement in the bottom of the market. It's Metcalfe's law. The price scales as an exponential function of the number of users in the system. The value of a network is exponentially more valuable the more people join, because you have more usage. You have more connections between more people, more bilateral nodes going between more users. More users is all that matters. Metcalfe's law, guys. Let me read Metcalfe's law for you guys. Metcalfe's law states that the financial value or influence of a telecom network is proportional to the square of the number of connected users. All right. Here's a visual for you. Put image in new tab. Here's Metcalfe's law in a nutshell, right? And it was originally applied to telecom networks. So, but you know, you could apply it to blockchain as well. And what you can apply to blockchain is that the price also probably scales with the number of users, because that's more people that have bought. Look, what use is a telecommunications protocol where only 2 phones are connected? It's great. Okay, person A can talk to person B, but it's not that useful. Now we got 5 people, but it doesn't get 5 times more useful. It gets 5 squared times more useful, right? It's not, look at all these different connections you've got. You don't just have 5 connections. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I mean, I didn't really do the math right on that, but you've got 10 connections. You don't just have 5 extra. And now you've got, let's say you've got 10 telephones in the network. Man, try to count all those lines. I can't even count all those lines. It's probably 100. So yes, the value of a network scales exponentially by the number of users. It's raining HEX. Hallelujah. Coffee, how do you unstake on SparkSwap? You just press the minus button. There's a plus button and a minus button. I mean, ask in the Telegram if it's not working for you. But yeah, you just unstake it on the UI. You just press plus to add liquidity and minus to remove the liquidity. Thoughts on bad idea AI? I don't know. I don't know about bad idea AI. Sounds like a bad idea. I think a lot of AI stuff is all hype. It's kind of like, you know, when people would add blockchain or Web3 into their centralized software just to capitalize on the hype. So there's a lot of vaporware. There's a lot of fake news. There's a lot of rabbit holes that really won't lead you anywhere when it comes to AI. But I think some certain things, ChatGPT will change the game. It has changed the game. It's a superior way to search for solutions. ChatGPT can replace so many people, right? It can replace a lot of employees, actually. ChatGPT and Midjourney. I mean, it's going to make businesses easier to run. I use it. I use ChatGPT for my business. This is great. I had no idea there was a social tracking app. Yeah, there's a social tracking app. It's been out for a while. Lunar Crush. So yeah, guys, yeah. What else are we talking about, guys? What else are we talking about? Let's go here. Let's go read the chat again, shall we? Man, some people just came in here to shit on HEX and shill something else. Let's see. Where is that guy? Where is that guy? Sold my EHEX for Pulse a while back. Going to trade it for PHEX eventually. Okay. Sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Good for you. If PHEX mooned huge, but PLS did the opposite, would stake and unstake fees be very low? If PHEX mooned, but PLS did the opposite, yeah, stake fees would stay very low. Yep, that makes sense. It makes sense, doesn't it? I think, you know, if PLS fees ever get out of hand, I think the developers could literally just change the code and change the, basically it would sacrifice. So there's this sacrifice, right? If you lower gas fees, the validators are also get paid less. So the gas fees were actually raised kind of last minute in PulseChain. A lot of people don't know this. Last minute in PulseChain, there was a decision made to raise gas fees so that validators could actually be significantly profitable, talking like 20% APR. You know what validators earn on Ethereum? 4%. That's 5x higher on PulseChain. You're in 20% on PulseChain. You earn 4% for staking on Ethereum as a validator. Okay. Now, when PulseChain is mature, that might be okay. When PulseChain is 5 years old, 6, 7 years old, like Ethereum is, then maybe you can lower the inflation rate or the amount paid, the gas rate, and maybe you can actually lower the amount paid to validators. But this was a design decision. This is a very intentional design decision. Why did they do it? Well, Richard, probably my guess is that he favored decentralization in the beginning over low gas. Now, gas is already super dirt cheap, right? It's already, less than $1. You're never going to pay more than 6, 7 cents right now for a transaction. At the most transactions are one to 2 pennies. But at the beginning, you want decentralization, right? So Richard was probably thinking, we need to make sure this network is decentralized right off the bat. How are we going to do that? Well, we need to have a nice juicy APR for validators. And lo and behold, Richard Hart was right. Shout out to Richard. You did it again, you crazy SOB. We've got 40,000 validators now, none of which are Richard's, entirely decentralized, entirely community driven. We're like the third most decentralized blockchain after Bitcoin and Ethereum. In terms of number of actual unique validators, we are more decentralized than Avalanche, more decentralized than Solana. I mean, if you want to talk about technical decentralization, we have got it already on the third month of existence. There's almost 40K validators, probably going to be more, right? And over time, as the price of PLS rises, right, people are much more happy with the legitimacy of HEX, right, or of PulseChain. But, after PulseChain's been out for a while, people are going to be more okay and comfortable with staking. So they'll also, in theory, they should be okay with receiving a lower APR in favor for shifting back to cheaper fees. So as the price goes up, PulseChain will be legitimized. As we know, people are staking in Ethereum for 4%. So you've got a lot of room to play with the stats there. You can lower the APR and then make the gas fees cheaper, but it's a trade-off, right? And it's good to be more decentralized at the beginning, right? You want to nurture your network when it's brand new, and you want to maximize decentralization. How are you going to do that? High APR for validators at the expense of a little bit higher gas fees, which you're not going to notice right now because the PLS price is low. PLS price gets high. Then you could talk about lowering gas fees and also lowering APR. Somi is invaluable. Yes, he is. Somi is a friend. Somi drinks ice cubes, orange juice with 3 ice cubes, and he's got a straight back. That's my favorite quality in him. Alex is a smart dude. Yes, he is. Raining HEX from inflation, staking inflation. Johnny Chaos, what's going on? I got a big bag of deep brain chain. AI is supposedly needed data. Well, that didn't work. Is that a real thing? I would not be surprised if deep brain was. I think that's just a joke, but watch. It's going to probably launch next week. Coffee, what was that website you used to scan your entire wallet? Lightbeam.xyz. So if you're looking for all your coins and you want to just add them automatically, lightbeam.xyz. lightbeam.xyz. Shout out Gerardo. Gerardo created that website. Thank you, bro. Very handy website. Scans the entire blockchain. I think it scans 5,000 coins in like less than 15 seconds. And it'll add all your pretty little logos, all your pretty little coin balances, and you can see how rich you are. You can see how wrecked you are right now. But in the future, you can see how rich you are. Yeah, you don't get to shit talk my coin on my channel and then shill another coin. Sorry, bud. That's enough out of you. Dun, 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 dun. Although I will look into that other coin. I am looking into that other coin, but you are hidden. You are hidden. HEX looks so good at 0.003. Need to load more. That's cool, man. Go ahead, banana boy. They're pretty locked together. HEX, PHEX kind of move up and down in tandem. Guys, any questions in the chat? What do you want my next video to be? I guess it's a Saturday. We don't have as many people viewing. 170 people, though, on a Saturday. Thank you all for coming. Richard Hart, SEC. We could pull up the, here's something cool that we could pull up. Courtlistener.com, okay? Court Listener. Court Listener. Richard Hart. Richard Schuler. What the heck, guys? Our court listener. Anybody have the court listener thing? I used to have it. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. My gosh. All right, I'll pull up the stream, everybody. If anybody has the link in the chat, go ahead and pull it up. Send over the link because I want to show you guys something really cool. You guys might find this valuable, so stick with me here, guys. Stick with me while I find this court listener website. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Corey. Corey Costa, the man with the plan. All right, so look. An initial conference will be held by telephone on November 28th, 2023. And there's a phone number and an access code to listen in on the conference. Now, it is illegal to record, but if you'd like to listen, it seems doable. If you want to listen to, Richard and potentially Richard's lawyer, talking about stuff, go ahead, right? Go ahead. I'm probably going to listen, to be honest with you. So courtlistener.com. I'll post this. If anybody wants, I'm going to post this link in the chat right now. Here. That link in the chat. And you can follow along with all the updates on the case, all the hottest updates on the SEC case, right? Man, never did I think that I was going to care so much about a court case. A bullshit court case at that, right? A total BS, false allegations, corrupt SEC. There's no misappropriation of funds. There's no securities here. There's no securities fraud. And if there is, well, perhaps a fine is due, but look, nobody tries to follow the rules harder than Richard Hart. Like Richard Hart is on camera, on video, saying many, many times he tries to follow the rules. So people think it's going to be like, here's a myth, okay? A lot of people think, oh, I can't wait for November 28th. It's going to be the Richard Hart SmackDown, WWE, Richard Hart versus SEC, total SmackDown. And it's not going to be like that, guys. It's not going to be like Richard Hart owns the SEC. There's no debate here, okay? It's not going to be like what people are thinking it's going to be like his old live streams with like Roger Ver. This is a professional legal situation, okay? Number one, you act you act in a manner that's professional. Above all things, you're respectful. You don't call people names. Man, if some of us Hexicans were in court, we would not do a good job representing Richard, would we? But so Richard's going to come in there and he's going to try to, be friendly with the SEC because he has said verbatim many, many times that he tries his best to follow the rules. In fact, I don't know a person that tries harder to stress no expectations of profit from the work of others. You've got all kinds of founders out here. You've got Charles Hoskinson. The man's got a roadmap. The man is literally promising you things that he's going to do in the future. Where's his lawsuit? Well, he didn't wear Gucci, so he doesn't get a lawsuit yet. But hide your kids, hide your wife, because they're coming for everybody. They're coming for you next. Hoskinson or whoever hasn't been sued yet. Guys, just Google SEC crypto lawsuits. It's like the whole first front page. Just lawsuit. It's very, very common. That's like the only weapon in their toolbox is to sue people to try to get money out of them so that they can look good, so they can climb the corporate ladder, so they can keep feeding the political machine that is the United States government. So a transcript of the proceedings is going to be here, blah, blah, blah. And a week before, okay, so guys, a week before the case, they need to fill out, both parties must sign a joint and completed copy of the proposed discovery plan. What is the proposed discovery plan? Let me show you what the proposed discovery plan is. All right, on my screen right here, we've got A, B, and C. Notice section B on the proposed discovery plan, which is due by the meeting on November 28th. Notice section B. Section B is my favorite section. Why is it my favorite section? Well, what is it called? Settlement plan. Number one, plaintiff to make settlement demand. Number two, defendant to make settlement offer. Now, visualize it, everybody. Everyone, group meditation time. Group meditation. We're all going to visualize a number. We're all going to visualize a check mark in the box 1, and we're going to visualize a check mark in box 2. So wouldn't it be nice? And look, I have no crystal ball. I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea how courts even work. To be honest, I've learned more about the legal system in the US in the past month than I think I have in my entire life. But wouldn't it be nice to see them hash out a demand for a settlement and a settlement offer? $5 million, $10 million. Richard Hart just pays a fine, and then we're that much closer to getting this all over with. Right? The SEC loves soy milk. This is true. Keep this in mind when you're reading this proposed settlement plan. The SEC does love soy milk. Maybe they'll settlement demand will just be for a carton of soy milk. Richard Hart will provide. He's got the milk, baby. But look, I mean, yeah, settlement plan to extort. Look, I know it's corrupt. I know it's terrible, awful. And there's this whole fight versus settle. What should Richard do? Should he fight the case? Should he settle? I would like him to settle personally. But if he fights, which he might, if he fights, well, that's just an extended lawsuit looming over. It doesn't mean the coins can't pump. Okay. HEX pumped a 10,000x on no good news. Haters everywhere. Gatekeeping everywhere. Weren't even listed on CoinMarketCap. Ranked 201. Delisted off of every centralized exchange. Centralized exchanges don't matter. We can still pump without them. Okay. And we're building new and improved ways of fiat on-ramps. We've got 0x Coast. We've got another one. We've got another fiat on-ramp I got a secret for you guys that I can't tell you yet. But pretty soon I'm going to be making a video about a brand new fiat on-ramp, potentially with no KYC. No KYC on-ramp. Can you believe that? So this is going to be a big deal. We've got people building all kinds. We've got Beetroot, which is a cross-chain bridge, anonymous bridge into it. You got Change Now. You can buy HEX on Change Now. You got Kanga.exchange. If you like scummy centralized exchanges, go ahead and try Kanga. Well, look, guys, I would love to see a settlement demand and a settlement offer, and then wash our hands and be done with this forever. I would like that. But if Richard Hart fights for blockchain as freedom of speech, if he fights for the core principles and ideals of why crypto was invented, and if he wants to take the judge to try to get a decision to protect blockchain code as a whole, I think it could be a giant step forward for the crypto industry for decades to come. I mean, that would be a legacy impact of Richard Hart, right? What will he do? I don't know. I think we, with or without a lawsuit, we pump. Without a lawsuit looming overhead, maybe we pump a little more, but I really don't think it matters as much as people might think. It only matters if you think it matters. So if we all stop thinking that it matters and we just continue to trade this stuff, because look, they can't shut it off, right? Like, really, you can't shut it off. So it doesn't matter what's going on the legal side, how long it lasts. It just matters that we keep bringing it up as a topic, really. It matters that people get fudded out by it. So we need to have talking points against, why it's nothing to worry about. And my main talking point as to why it's nothing to worry about for me personally is that you're still going to trade this stuff all day long. You can't shut down the smart contracts. They have no admin key. They have no middleman. Richard Hart could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Knock on wood. I really don't want you to get hit by a bus, Richard. Please don't get hit by a bus. But you could. He could. You won't become the king of crypto without fighting the good fight. Drop the gloves. Yeah, man. Look, if he does fight, I am here for the fight. I got my popcorn ready. I am rooting for him. And also, guys, I do have something else in mind. This is something I can't really talk about yet, but I believe very, very soon. I've got a website ready. I've got everything ready. We're going to be forming a petition, a serious petition, not one of those stupid petitions on like petition.org. I hate to break it to you guys, but those petitions don't actually do anything. God, signing an online petition on that website, it's like, well, what are we getting done here? But no, we've got a petition that will potentially be used in an amicus brief to provide value as friends of the court, just to give a perspective from hundreds, if not thousands, of Hexicans that we really did sacrifice for freedom of speech. We were not victims. We were not victims at all of Richard. Telling our story from our side to potentially allow better outcome, kind of like Ripple did. Ripple managed to get thousands of signatures, and I think we can do the same thing. But I can't really talk about that yet because we need a lawyer to sign off on the final verbiage, essentially. So stay tuned on that. I'll probably be hosting some Twitter Spaces in the future. I think it'd be pretty easy to get a couple hundred people to sign this petition, don't you? Personally, I think it'd be pretty easy. I think everything pumps if he fights. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like if he fights the lawsuit and it's a bull market, then everyone just goes rah rah and they rally behind him, and then the fighting the SEC becomes part of the good narrative. It's all about the candles, man. Tell me the color of the candle, and I'll spin the news for you. I'll tell you the narrative if you tell me the color of the candle. Red candle, SEC is going to crush HEX. It's all going to go down. It's going to die. Green candle, Richard Hart's fighting the good fight. He's on Team Crypto. He's going to win. Everybody loves Richard. It really is that simple, guys. It really is that simple. I'll sign. Thank you. I hope you will. Now, people aren't going to like this because the signatures are going to require that you actually, I guess, dox yourself, right? It's going to require a real phone number and a real address because they need to make sure that you're all real people so that you're not just spamming up, the signature list with fake signatures. They don't like that. So when they audit the signatures, they typically, would call people on the phone and be like, hey, is this really you? Did you really sign this signature? And you gotta use real info. So if people don't like that, they don't have to sign. But look, there's more to come on that. Just trying to do my part, everybody. Let's see. Hey, Coffee, do you know if it's possible to run an online validator? Yes, it is, but it is very, very expensive. Very good question. Pay someone to run a validator with my crypto address. Two-part question, okay? I'll answer the first part right here. It is possible to run an online validator. You can buy compute power from Amazon Web Services, or you could buy compute power from Azure, Microsoft Azure, or probably Google Cloud as well. But it is not worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one because you're going to be paying more in costs for hosting than you're going to be making right now. I mean, maybe when the price of Pulse does 100x, maybe you'll be in profit, but I wouldn't want to take that risk right now. You know what I mean? So it's really just not worth it because, the hosting cost outweighs the validator gains. But if you go to validatorstore.com, that's validatorstore.com, you can talk to David Feeder, and I think he's doing some kind of validator pool, okay? And I would trust that guy. So he does offer services where he runs validators on behalf of other people. And I think he takes a fee, obviously, because he deserves it because he's doing all the work. But yeah, you might want to check out David Feeder. Either message him on, Telegram, or I think his information is in validatorstore.com. Send him an email and he'll get back to you. I'm sure he appreciates the business as well. Here, they don't sue me. Haha. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the United States. I'm sure all of our European friends, all of our friends outside of the US are probably pretty happy to be there right now. Probably pretty happy to live there. But hey, I still love the USA. I just think that it's a little wacky with its laws sometimes. It's just it's become such a big organization. There's so many rent seekers. We spend trillions of dollars on governments. They got so much money on government spending that we need to tax people half of their wealth just to fund these guys. Not only the military industrial complex, but even just like the 3-letter agencies. These guys' jobs are funded from taxpayer money. It's just, it's become such a big enterprise, and there's too many cooks in the kitchen, right? I'm always a fan of less government, not no government, but wherever possible, less government. And that almost never happens. Once you give someone power, they almost never want to relinquish it. Almost never. Hawaii is a mess. I'm sure it is. Welcome to Canada. Yeah, Canada seems to be even worse than the USA when it comes to, the corruption of the government. But look, all countries are corrupt in a way. Power corrupts, plain and simple. You've got socialist countries like more so Sweden and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's just different ways of governing, right? There's pros and cons of living in all these countries. You really do have a lot of kind of personal freedom in the USA, but not as much as other countries. Still, not as much, but like more than China probably. Imagine the narrative gets out. SEC is fighting this crypto founder against freedom of speech and freedom of movement. Yeah, that's going to be the narrative, guys. The SEC's fighting against Richard is really like fighting against freedom of speech. It's anti-American. It's unconstitutional what they're doing. The corrupt and incompetent SEC has an unconstitutional lawsuit where they are attacking freedom of speech. An attack on Richard, an attack on HEX is an attack on freedom of speech. It's an attack on blockchain technology. Well said, Joe Venuto. I'm going to run with that narrative. I like that. Coffee is speaking words of wisdom in the bear market. Thank you, sir. Just here to share some of what little I know about stuff. I know some things about some stuff. Fight or settle. Fight or settle is really just like ego versus profit. But I think we profit either way. If he fights, I think we turn that narrative into profit. And the only way he would fight is partially to feed his ego, but also to leave a legacy for the greater crypto community. Or maybe he just doesn't want to deal with it. Maybe Richard just pays a settlement because it's probably a headache for him. And I would assume that Richard just wants to get back to building. He probably wants to get back to his whole life goals type of thing. kind of an annoyance to deal with this right now, but he's very, very confident. Okay. You got to realize that Richard has been planning for this moment since day one. You know, he's got legal opinion letters. He's got lawyers out the wazoo. He tried his hardest to follow the rules. I mean, you can look at him online on stream saying that he likes the SEC. Him and the SEC have a lot in common. And Richard's strategy going into this, it's not going to be what people think. It's not going to be Richard fights the SEC like, you know, Richard crushes the SEC. He's not going to come in there guns blazing, saying, fuck you, this and that. His strategy is that we got to get along on the commonalities. What does Richard and the SEC have in common? They both want to stop scams. They both do their best to protect investors. They really do. Richard really does a lot to try to warn people about scams. They both want to save people from scams, okay? And I think that they can find a lot more common ground in a professional legal setting. And that's, you know, that's going to be being a friend, being a friend of the court and not an enemy is gives you a lot more leverage, right? My best friends, what is it? What is the quote? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. My best friend is my enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know. There's some quote in there. There's some relevant quote that I just can't think of right now. Don't bet against Richard Hart, guys. Do not bet against Richard Hart. He's not dumb. The man is very, very smart. If you bet against Richard, you are probably going to lose. Fade the crowd. Get into the ecosystem is my opinion. That's where I'm putting my money personally. He always thought about the potential for SEC, guys. He always weighed the risks and rewards, and he's always tried to follow the rules. So, like, you can see him in the early days, like a bunch of lawyers. Lawyers are so weird, guys. Lawyers are always so overconfident, and like, that's their job, right? Their job is to be like, of course we're going to win this case. But they're so overconfident. Like, they don't know their own shortcomings. Like, they don't know their own strengths and weaknesses. They think that everything, a lot of the lawyers that I've seen talk, I've seen lawyers talk, you know, the lawyers that gangbanged Richard early on. They were like, you're going to get a cease and desist. And then he's like, well, then I will cease and desist. Come and fucking stop me, bro. Like, but these lawyers, they just make shit up, right? They just make stuff up because that's how they get clients in a way too. And it takes a certain personality type, I think, to be a lawyer. No offensive. I don't mean to offend anybody if you're a lawyer in the chat, but they'd probably agree with me. They'd probably have a lot of friends in the lawyer community that are way overconfident because you got to fight for your client no matter who they are. If you take on a client, you need to be the one to provide the confidence that they're going to win. So that's the game that these lawyers are playing. They can be kind of rent seekers sometimes, you know. The lawyers always win. Divorce, legal battles, SEC claims. Who's really winning here? The lawyers, man. The lawyers are getting paid the whole time. And then the settlement. The SEC gets a settlement fee. And they pay the snitchers too. They pay the cockroach scumbag that snitched. Oh, man. I worry for that snitch in real life. He better not show up at a... never mind. Good if he pumps our bags, though. Good he pumps our bags, though. Lawyers' loyalty is to the bar, not the client. Yeah, well said, Archie. They just want their money, man. They just want their money. You got to fight for your right to party. Full offense to lawyers. Yeah. I don't want to offend any lawyers because I might need one day. Coffee. What are the fiat on-ramps for HEX? Well, you got to just buy Ethereum on a centralized exchange. The easiest way to do it, you could check out my pinned tweet. The easiest way to do it is to buy HEX or just to buy Ethereum on a centralized exchange. Go ahead and buy PLS, wrapped Pulse on Uniswap. Bridge that Pulse into the Uniswap, into the PulseChain ecosystem using bridge.pulsechain.com. And then after you bridge it over, you go to app.pulsex.com and you could trade PulseChain that you just bought You could trade that for HEX. Or you could trade that for PulseChain. You could buy whatever you want. Someone's talking about the cockroach snitcher. Yeah, it's a sad individual because he bought high and sold low. Hey man, people waste their time in all kinds of ways. So it had to happen, right? It was going to be somebody. It was always going to happen, right? We always figured when this thing started, yeah, the SEC will probably come eventually. I mean, Richard Hart was saying from day one, he's like, look what happened to EOS. They paid a fine and they moved on. He said, look what happened to, Ripple. Look what happened to all these other coins. Usually they pay a fine. And because you can't shut off the software because it's decentralized, it's literally blockchain smart contracts. But then they move on and it's business as usual. So, we always thought this day would come. The day has come. It was going to be somebody. So it's almost just like playing out the prophecy, right? We're just playing out what had to always happen. When you make that much noise, when you get that much attention, sometimes you got to pay a speeding ticket, right? This is basically just a really expensive speeding ticket. And it's, people get scared, but I don't think he's going to jail. I find that very unlikely. And even if so, optics wise, right? Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump's mugshot got him more free press than anything else this whole year. I almost forgot about Donald Trump because he's not on Twitter anymore. I almost forgot he existed because I'm not on Rumble and all that stuff. But I saw his mugshot. You better be sure everybody saw his mugshot. And the memes, guys, just the memes. The memes, guys. Donald Trump being arrested is putting him back on the map. It's like, if it bleeds, it leads. All news is good news. All news is good news. Repeat after me. So I'm not saying Richard's going to get arrested, but if he did, can you imagine the memes? And then he becomes a martyr, right? He becomes like, if you want to spin that into a positive narrative, you say he took one for the team. He took one for all of crypto. He fought for our freedom of speech. And maybe he had to spend a month in jail. I don't know. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I really don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think so. The SEC just needed an excuse to start the case no matter how flimsy. Yeah, someone was always going to complain. You should see all the complaints that the SEC gets. They probably get complaints about every single crypto. Solana scammed me. Why? Because I bought high and sold low. Oh, well, we'll look into them. Oh, it's Sam Bankman-Fried. Never mind. His daddy works for us, so we're good. Mount Gox, there are plenty of Mr. Gott. Oh, Mr. Gott. What bridge do you use to get into PLS? It's called bridge.pulsechain.com. It's the primary bridge. It's the only bridge right now that you really should be using, I think. PortalXswap.io is also a bridge, but just go to bridge.pulsechain.com and check it out, guys. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. Did you use a credit card or is it KYC? Did you just use a credit card or is it KYC house at work? I'm not sure about the question there, but yeah, I connect my bank account to my centralized exchange account. I like Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, Crypto.com. Those four. Really, it doesn't matter where your centralized exchange is. That's your fiat on-ramp. I also like 0x Coast, but that's hard to start off with if you don't already have PLS. For a very first time user, we need gasless transactions. I'm going to go off on a tangent right now. We need gasless transactions. This will be the killer feature, I predict. I really hope Pateus does it. Shout out Pateus if you're listening, pateus.io. They just launched their token, I think. But gasless transactions are on their roadmap. Now, when I say gasless transactions, what are they? No, it does not mean you don't pay any gas. It means that you pay gas in the token of your choice. Why is that important? Well, think about a new user's perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of a new user. What's the most important thing for the price? Onboarding new users. How do we onboard new users? Well, put yourself in their shoes. What is their first time experience like? They need to buy Ethereum so that they have money for gas, right? And then they have to understand this concept of gas. So they can't swap all their Ethereum for PLS. They can only swap some of it because they need to leave a little bit for gas. That user experience sucks balls. That alone drops so many people off, especially when they see shit, I got to pay $10 for just to swap. I only wanted to put in $100. Why should I have to pay 10% of my money just to the gas fee? It's like, but bro, just come to PulseChain. It'll be better. The fees are a penny. People don't care. They have short attention spans. Their attention spans are that of a goldfish, literally. So at any one of these points, they drop off. There's so much friction in the onboarding process that the opportunity for a user to drop off along the way is extremely high. Now, watch this, right? You buy stablecoin, 0x Coast, you buy stablecoin CST, and you want to go take your stablecoin and buy PulseChain. But wait, it's not that easy because you're a first-time user and you don't have any PLS for gas. Like, why on earth should I have to buy another token to swap one token for another token? This is what a new user is thinking, okay? It's stupid. Yes, it is stupid, but it's how the network works. There's benefits. It's how the whole decentralization thing. But look, what if I could pay my first gas fee? Let's say I want to spend 100 CST and swap that for PLS, right? Wouldn't it be nice to just pay my gas fee in CST? And then a router on the back end, converts that or something. Matcha does this. Matcha.xyz does this over on Ethereum. So for first-time users on Ethereum, let's say all you've got is USDC, you can actually buy HEX over on Matcha still, and you don't have to have any ETH in your wallet at all. You could just swap the USDC directly for HEX. But we don't have that on PulseChain yet. So we need that on PulseChain. We really, really need that. In my humble opinion, any developers listening, this will be a killer app. Okay. Whoever invents the gasless transactions, I will shill the crap out of that because that is the number one fix for onboarding new people. I hate onboarding new people. Like, it's especially when they're not tech savvy. If they don't want to learn, it's not easy for them. There's a lot of people that just kind of give up. They're lazy. They give up. They don't really want crypto. They just kind of want it because they saw the numbers go up. And when I'm trying to onboard new people and they're not really passionate about it, they don't care. They drop off. They see $10 gas fee and they just lose interest. They go back to watching sports. I'm serious, guys. User experience matters. I'm very, very strongly opined on that. All right. I have a strong opinion. Gasless transactions and limit orders would be nice too. Limit orders would be pretty chill, but I say gasless transactions first, man. Personally. All right, guys. Question time. Important question. Okay. Thank you for all caps. Banana Boy. Is that K for K? Hold on. Is that K for K? Banana Boy says, when cashing out from Coinbase or Kraken to a bank account, how will that work when the amount is big dollars? I hear banks close account, etc. You got to make sure. So, okay. I like to also have more than one bank just because some banks don't treat crypto so friendly. But Coinbase and Kraken and crypto.com, these are all mainstream. I've never had a problem with my bank account. Okay. Banks know what these companies are and they're okay with them. At least in the USA, they are. So yes, sometimes banks do close accounts or they freeze money. I've been able to make some large transactions. Let's just say that. Now, not talking millions, but I've been able to make large transactions without getting any grief from my bank. And in the worst case scenario, they'll probably just call you. They'll probably just be like, hey, is this really you? And if they ask too many questions, like, where's the money coming from? Show me all your receipts. We're going to kick your door down. Then maybe it's time to get a different bank. You know what I mean? So it doesn't hurt to set up like 3 or 4 bank accounts. It really doesn't, because you can always link a different bank that hopefully will treat you better and that won't think you're a scammer. Or, you could divvy it up in chunks, right? You could only cash out, like, let's say you really crushed it, right? And the top of the bull market, you're cashing out $1 million. Maybe just to be safe, maybe you just go in like $50,000 increments, $50,000 this week, 50,000 next week, 50,000, just do it over time. Like, you can sell everything into USDC and just sit on the USDC for a while and then slowly offload that, not all in one lump sum. So that might be a useful tip as well. Because if a bank sees $1 million coming in, they might want to call you on the phone. You might be having a phone call with your bank. And I would probably want to avoid that personally. So, multiple banks, small chunks. That's my that would be my recommendation. I mean, I currently do that. I currently have multiple banks. So Banana Boy is a fake K4K, lol. I am not K4K. I just like that pic. Yeah, the pic is covered. I wish I could see the whole thing, but you got a YouTube logo kind of covering that thing. Or that's on my end, but a million, lol, damn. Dude, I think a lot of people are going to be very, very wealthy in this next bull market. If they play it right, if they're buying the dips, you could turn $10,000 into $1 million. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible to do. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I'd say chunks. You know, if you're cashing out $1 million, maybe try to do it in 50K at a time or something like that. What makes the price of a T-share go up for HEX stakes? The price of a T-share goes up when people end their stakes. So basically, when people end their stakes, T-shares are burned. And when people make new stakes, T-shares are created. But the burn rate is usually outpacing the creation rate, because every time they're burned, the price of it goes up a little bit in HEX terms. So the T-share price will only go up in HEX terms. And basically, all you need to know is that every time someone ends their stake, T-shares get a little bit more scarce, right? So the price of them goes up a tiny little bit every time. And over, many, many years, we've seen the T-share price go from, it started at 10,000 HEX per T-share. Now I think, what's the T-share price today? Go.hex.com says, I got to unlock MetaMask. T-share price today is 27,000. So it's almost done a 3x in the past 4 years. We're almost at 30,000 HEX per T-share, 27,000 HEX per T-share. They're never getting cheaper. Never getting cheaper in HEX terms. Just joined. Sorry if you mentioned already, but how are you buying HEX on Ethereum these days? Yeah, scroll back in my video. You got all kinds of different options. ETHEX.com, swap.hedron.pro. If you scroll back in the video, I literally pulled up a slide with all these websites. Swap.cow.fi, it's cow swap. 1inch, pancake swap, sushi swap, matcha. With matcha, you have to copy paste the address. So that's about 8 different ways I just mentioned. If you want to see the list of websites, just scroll to the beginning of the video. And don't worry, bro. It's going to be all right. You could still buy HEX on Ethereum. There's all kinds of different front ends. Just because the main Uniswap guys decided to, ban us. All they did was they delisted off the front end. But you can't stop unstoppable code, boys. It's unstoppable. Smart contracts that are decentralized, they have no off switch, no middleman. It's not like you go to Richard's house and he's got like the master, it's like that South Park when the giant router that was like the internet. It's not like that's in Richard's basement, okay? Hey, thank you for the tip, Andrew. Really appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. Man, such a great question for starting someone on crypto. Crypto isn't illegal, so the banks won't query it. Yeah, crypto's not illegal at all. I mean, maybe in like India. I'm not following the laws worldwide, but crypto's definitely very, very legal. It's okay. HEX, her HEX to the moon. Her HEX to the moon. Interesting name. Hey, Coffee. Hello. PulseX farm question. Will V1 and V2 ever be combined? Or does V1 farm earn INC only and V2 liquidity pay fees only? Yes. The latter part of your question, the answer is yes. Yes, you are correct. Yes, V1 earns INC only, V2 pays fees only. I don't believe it's possible to combine them because fixing that initial bug required a total reset of the liquidity pools. So you've got pre-bug and post-bug. I think there will always be a V1 and V2, but it kind of makes things more interesting, right? Like, kind of. I mean, obviously, I wish there was only one version, but hey, whatever. My banker has no problem seeing 7 digits coming in. The complete opposite. He would be very happy. He should be very happy. That's how a normal banker should think, right? But we're living in this 1984 Orwellian police state. So who knows, right? Who knows? Yeah. It depends what country you're from. Bankers should want people to deposit a lot of money into the bank, right? And look, $1 million probably, 7 figures probably isn't that much nowadays. Like maybe if you were offloading 8, maybe if you were offloading 8 figures, maybe they'd start to question, or 9 figures, probably they would definitely be like, where's this money coming from, man? And then you'd have to like explain, but we just live in fucking clown world though. You know what I mean? We live in clown world where they're like, hey, you want $10,000 cash? Well, we're not going to give it to you. You got to tell us why you want $10,000 cash. It's like, give me my fucking money. It's my money in the bank. I want it in cash. Well, why do you want the cash? Are you going to do some illegal naughty boy stuff? Huh? You going to do some illegal drug stuff? No, man, just give me the cash. I shouldn't have to beg for my cash out of the bank. It's pathetic. How high can cats go with Sasha Home market cap? What? My brother? I do not understand this question. How high can cats go with Sasha Home market cap, my brother? You high, bro? Didn't you say there was no KYC on-ramp? Yes, it's in progress right now. It's not launched yet, but the moment that they're ready, I'm going to be doing a video on it, and I'm very excited to tell everybody about it. They said they're working on it. It's their top priority. Someone just... Oh, thank you for the sub, Christian. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, they're trying to deploy today. Oh, okay. So I just got news from them that they might have deployed already. So that's pretty cool, guys. Stay tuned. New Fiat on-ramp potentially coming into PulseChain. Potentially no KYC. Pretty crazy. If your HEX is burned every time you start a stake, no, HEX is burned every time you end a stake. Oh, sorry. T-shares are burned when you... All right, let me just start this one over. I read that too fast. If your HEX is burned every time you start a stake, the more people that stake and burn faster, the better, since you're lowering the circulation. Correct. Yeah, the more people that stake and burn is better. Yes, we want people staking and taking supply off the market, right? Because yeah, you are correct. If you burn, when you stake HEX, it's technically burned, and then when your stake is up, you burn the T shares and you mint back brand new HEX, which is all your principal plus yield. So yeah, your thinking is totally correct. And yeah, you want people to stake because you want to lower that supply. You want to lower that circulating supply, help make HEX more rare, and get paid inflation in the process. While everybody else is getting diluted, you're getting paid inflation to help keep the price up, to help keep to take circulating supply off the table and make HEX more scarce. That's how the HEX works. Fun fact: most people that work at the bank know very little about money. This is probably very, very true. And I don't think a lot of the bank tellers, I don't think the JP Morgans of the world want the bank tellers to know too much about money, because then they might catch on. Maybe then they might start their own bank. We can't have all these people learning how to read, learn about money. We got to keep the good old boys game going. Banana Boy still doing audits. What are we talking about? Oh, liquid loans. Yeah, they're not doing audit. These guys are still jerking us. Yeah. It's been a freaking hell of a delay. But you know what? The real thing with liquid loans is that they need the Oracle. They need Fetch, the Oracle. Same thing with, what is it? Power City. Power City basically just did a copy of liquid loans, but with PulseX instead. And they're waiting on the Oracle. Okay. So you can join the Telegram for the Fetch Oracle if you want to see the progress on that. Let's see if there's any news on the Fetch Oracle. I can tell you how close liquid loans is getting. Dun, dun. It's working on, I mean, it's on GitHub. Seems to be in testing. Oracle won't be launching till December. Okay. Wait. Where'd you hear that bullshit? Okay, never mind. Sorry, that was just some random guy on Telegram. There is no date, so don't make up timelines. Okay, there is no timeline. Yeah, all right. Forget what I said. There's no timeline on the Fetch Oracle, but they are working on it. And the Oracle is the missing puzzle piece, okay? That's the missing link right there. Should we all abandon Ethereum for PulseChain? Is it still worth having assets on it? I like having some Ethereum token in general, but I'm not buying any of the assets really. Like, also, even when buying HEX, I'm buying it over on PulseX within the PulseChain ecosystem, because it's like, I just don't want to pay $20 gas fees on Uniswap, right? I like buying Ethereum as an investment. I think it's still going to do very well. Might do a 20x or something, maybe a 10x, 20x. But yeah, I'm not going to abandon Ethereum altogether. But let me just say, the majority of all my assets, all my altcoins that are non-layer 1 coins are all personally within PulseChain. But I do like to stack a little bit of Ethereum sometimes too. I probably got like 5% of my portfolio in just ETH. Probably a small amount. Hola, Coffee. Saludos. Hola, Gilbert. ¿Cómo estás? Sad part is PulseX hasn't finished dumping. Maybe not. I don't know. Is PulseX dumping more? Well, we got a nice little 1% pump today. 90% dip on the old PulseX, eh? Not doing so hot. Dun, dun, dun. How do I get my ERC20 clones off my ledger? Can't see them anywhere. So you can follow my Twitter. I just posted a handy tip. So when you're on your MetaMask, right? I'm assuming you're using MetaMask. Go to lightbeam.xyz, and that'll read all of your PRC20s, and it'll automatically add them to your wallet. I think that's what you're asking. They're not on your ledger. Your ledger is just like the middleman device. Like your ledger just allows you to do transactions, but you're gonna see all the coins show up in your MetaMask wallet. I'm assuming that you use MetaMask. So, what are the odds that PulseChain wins the competition among all other chains? Well, sir, let's do an incognito search, shall we? I mean, you guys have probably seen this tweet, but do an incognito search for Dexscreener. Dexscreener. Why incognito? Because I don't want the search engine results page, the SERPs. You know what SERP stands for? It stands for search engine results page. So I don't want the SERPs being modified by my previous browser history, right? Because my browser history shows the bias that, of course, I like to click on PulseChain stuff. So I need to go to an incognito tab so that all goes away, and share this here. And look on the screen before you. Look at my Dexscreener Google search. What do you notice in the subdomains underneath Dexscreener? PulseChain, new pairs, BSC, Chronos. Why are these important? These are based on what are people actually clicking the most. The search engine results page does not lie. Google is not censoring us yet. They might, right? But everybody else is censoring us. But luckily, Google is still showing the honest clicks. And what does this tell you? This is where the clicks are going. Everybody using Dexscreener, for the most part, they're watching PulseChain. Everybody wants to go to PulseChain first. So, I mean, I guess you could say we made Dexscreener popular. It was already popular beforehand, though. It's a great tool. Shout out Dexscreener. You guys are doing great. Doing the Lord's work over there, but PulseChain's first. Okay, so we're clearly adding a lot of the traffic to Dexscreener because these links are based on how many people click on them, right? And if they're not, well, then they're sometimes you can manually select which 4 subdomains you want to put. But if they're manually selected, that's still bullish, because that means that Dexscreener put PulseChain up there first because it was probably getting the most clicks. So either way, this is showing you that PulseChain is where the attention's at. It's where the eyeballs are at. And when the bull market comes back, guys, what do you think happens to the most looked at coin when the bull market comes back? What do you think pumps harder? Chronos. I don't even know what Chronos is. Somehow that made the front page. Dun, dun, dun. Swapping a large amount for CST becomes expensive. Do we need more liquidity for CST? If so, on V2 PulseX. Swapping a large amount. Let me try to read this slowly. Swapping a large amount for CST becomes expensive. Do we need more liquidity for CST? If so, on V2 PulseX. Yes, we do need liquidity. I mean, Coast has only been around for what, a month? So, yeah, you're not going to get super high liquidity overnight. Let's see what the CST liquidity is at right now. CST PLS, we've got $82,000 only in liquidity. but there's only ever been 300,000 CST minted. So, you know, it's only been out for 2 weeks. So people basically have only minted $300K worth of the stable coin. And of that, 82,000 is in liquidity. So yeah, we'll have to wait for that to scale up. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. And we do need it on V2 PulseX. The reason it's on V2 is because you got to incentivize people to put up liquidity. You know what I mean? I mean, why would anybody want to put up liquidity if they're not getting paid fees at least, right? Yeah, PulseX V2 is where you'll find the CST PLS liquidity pool. What happened to Jack Sharp? Good question. I don't actually, that's a really good question. Jake Sharp. What happened to that guy? Is he all right? Coffee, it is Saturday, man. Any plans tonight? Yep, I am going to be going. I actually got to go. I'm supposed to be chilling at the pool today. So I'm going to chill at the pool with my friend, and we will see how that goes. Grilling and chilling and hanging out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Great show. Thanks, Coffee. Hey, guys. Thank you. Not one person told me what video to make next, but that's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Get out, man. Enjoy. Yeah, I don't know what I'm still doing here. It's Saturday. It's Saturday, and I got stuff to do. Got fun to go have. All right, thank you, guys. Like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. We're all going to make it, boys, girls. We're all going to make it. Stay positive. The bear's almost over, guys. The bull market is real, I promise. Adios, guys.